Okay, my name is Gerhardus Scheepers. I'm a veterinarian, qualified in 1999 at the Faculty of Veterinary Science, University of Pretoria at Onderstepoort. Been involved in wildlife, mixed animal practice since about 2001. I spent some time in England before that. And I've got my own practice in Brits called Zodiac Animal Clinic. I've been associated with Ukutula for over 10 years now. I'm the head veterinarian or chief veterinarian, if you want to call it that way. So I've been involved here ever since Willie bought the farm. To be honest with you, I think the condition of the animals is immaculate. The facilities is very nice. The cages, if you look at them, they're up to standard. They're actually more than what the minimum standards require. The animals have got freedom, they've got space, they're in a very good condition, they're well cared for. The food program is monitored very strictly so that the animals don't get overweight, because it's actually more detrimental to them in captivity to become overweight than rather to be slightly on the lean side for health reasons and issues. Because remember, these animals don't have the same amount of exercise as an animal in the wild will have. They don't have to hunt for their food, they get it. But I must say, Willie's got it down to a fine art, and I'm very happy with the condition of the animals. Remember, you can't just come to a place and say, I want to do some research. All the research protocols go through an ethics committee that's governed by the South African Veterinary Council. So you put in a proposal, they review the whole thing, they see if it's not a duplicate, if it's not unnecessary harm to the animal, and then only will they give the go-ahead. So the research protocols that actually do go through are of a very high quality. Animal cruelty is actually not a part of it, it's to the minimal, and the welfare of the animals is always put first. And I must say the research that we've done so far, we've helped to isolate the white gene in your normal tawny line so that they can see which one actually carries the split gene and which one not, which was a huge step forward. It was never known before. And then we've obviously done some semen research, which is more in your reproductive aspects, which is very important, especially in Europe, where there's a lot of animals in zoos and they don't always have males and females. They either have one or the other, and a lot of their males has been castrated over the years. So this is actually quite important to facilitate those people into getting a breeding program there. And even for the future, you might never know if it's maybe necessary in maybe 10, 20 or even 100 years to actually help your wild population. You never know what might happen. I think research is definitely necessary. If it wasn't for research, we wouldn't go forward in life. So, I mean, there's research happening on the human side as well, and nobody says anything about that. So, but it's an easy bandwagon to jump onto, because people do get emotional about stuff, and it's easy to put an emotional story out there, which is a half-truth or a complete untruth. And people will just believe that. But no, I don't think the research is cruel. In all the research that's been conducted specifically at Ukutula, there's never been one animal that's been injured, harmed in a bad way. They're all happy, fine. Within 2 hours, they're back into their pride, no problems with them. Because a lot of the work that we do here in captive bred animals can be extrapolated and used just like we've researched it here in the wild population. And remember, the wild populations are also under stress. The territory is getting smaller and smaller. Inbreeding becomes a problem. And the research, specifically what we've done here with the reproductive research, has enabled the people in Europe to actually AI the European snow cat or snow leopard, I'm not 100% sure, which was never bred in captivity before, because the males tend to kill the females, and now they actually bred live cubs the second time around, which is wonderful, and they actually got released back into the wild. And I think we can do the same here. There is sometimes a problem with people that are doing inbreeding, partly because they don't know the know-how, and partly because they don't have other animals to use. But by doing this, you can actually create a sperm bank, and you can AI different females on different farms with different males, so there will never be inbreeding, and you can actually increase the gene population by doing that. Or the main benefit for the animals in the wild will be that we increase the gene population size, so that you don't sit with animals that, because the gene population gets too small, that you start getting animals of a lesser quality that's more susceptible to diseases, and it even may cause the dying out of the species. So by doing this research, you can actually help the animals in the wild as well. You can put some new genetic material back into their breeding groups. there's a lot of diseases that's currently present that's not been present 100 years ago. And due to that fact, and obviously it's also fenced in. People don't like to think about it, but theoretically it's still fenced in. It's still almost like a captive bred population. I mean, it's huge, but they're still fenced in. So they are susceptible to tuberculosis or TB, and that's put a huge clamp on the lion population in the Kruger Park. You've got a whole upset of the whole pride system due to the fact that your larger males, which should be actually the pride leaders, and the males that mate with the females, they are so weakened by the TB that the younger males take over the pride, so the whole social structure is turned upside down. So there's a huge turnover of males in a pride. So due to that, you get a lot of cubs that's being killed by the new male that come in. So you lose a lot of genetic material, which is quite sad in a sense. So I think the research that we do to see how we can better them and how you can easier do artificial insemination in them, things like that, will be a huge advantage to those lions because they are battling at the moment.